I drink a ton. This is not coming from a judgmental place because I drink a ton of caffeine. So I'm just asking.
I drink caffeine all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have trouble
Yeah,
getting to sleep?
No, I do not.
That's
I,
excellent. Good for you.
I can drink coffee and then immediately like take a nap. Like it's like the
I
caffeine has no effect on me. I think it's because like I read somewhere that like people with ADHD
Press
that
record. Press
I
record.
did. I did already.
Okay. Okay. Good.
I
Good.
read somewhere that somebody who has like ADHD, like caffeine does that to them, but I don't know if that's internet bullshit or if like you read things on the internet. Is it true or is it false? This is the state of the world we live in. Like you
Percent
could
of it is false. Yeah.
yes yeah a lot of it's false, and it's like you read it and then you think that that's right, and it's like could that be right?
Get
I
it
don't know,
gets it
but
gets stuck in your head as like a true fact.
this is what I know. This is what I know as a true fact. I wake up and I need 2 or 3 cups of coffee. Need them. I am a zombie without it. I'm a terrible. But it doesn't affect me. I can go right back to sleep after drinking 2 or 3 cups of coffee, and then I'm.
So you think it's a like a routine type thing? Like if you don't have it, you can't like
I
function
think
normally.
I definitely think that I'm addicted to caffeine. Like I'm addicted to coffee. Like I've tried tea in the morning instead of coffee, and it's like I definitely need coffee. Um,
Have you experienced with caffeine withdrawal headaches? Like have you gotten like been in a position where
oh
you just
yeah.
can't have caffeine and your
Well,
head starts to split?
yeah. If I forget, like I've done it on set a couple of times, where it's like I'll go hours, I don't get to work, and I'll go hours and hours, and then I'll realize that I haven't like, and then it's like, oh, I have a headache. Oh God, yeah, I need coffee. Like, but
Percent the source of all my headaches these days is because my day was disrupted somehow and I only had 1 cup of coffee.
Yeah.
yeah,
I can
yeah.
I can trace it every time
Yeah.
to caffeine deficit.
Oh
It's
yeah.
either it's either caffeine deficit for me or if I'm dehydrated, if I don't get enough water,
But
Yeah.
you don't
I'll
drink
get
coffee, Andrew. You drink those crazy like
I
smart
drink it.
things, right?
I drink energy drinks.
Science.
Yeah,
S-
I have an energy drink every single morning. I
hmm.
have one usually in the morning that I drink, and then I will and I'll try to have a sugar-free something in like early afternoon if I'm really feeling like if I drop off, I'll have like a sugar-free Monster or sugar-free Red Bull or have like a Coke Zero with
Hmm.
lunch. But I try not to have any caffeine late on in the day. But I have no trouble falling asleep. I'm asleep within 5 minutes of laying down.
Yeah. It's very
Uh,
frustrating for me in my audiobooks because I put an audiobook on and I'm
yeah,
stuck on the same chapter
right.
for a month because I fall asleep in 5 minutes,
Yeah,
and I even set it for like a 15-minute time frame, and I
me too.
never get to the end of 15
I,
minutes.
I'm
I
exactly
I
the same way. Yeah,
I always set my shit for like an hour. I don't know what I think. I fall asleep within 5 minutes. Like I need
Yeah,
it.
you gotta set it for 15 minutes, dude.
15 minutes.
I
15 minutes sounds right.
I
Because I was gonna say I always lose my place. Like
Yes.
I was like, where was
Set
I?
it for the shortest. Set it for 10.
yeah,
I'm gonna start setting it for 10,
10 minutes.
and I'm
See
sure
if
that
you
I'm
get there.
asleep within 10.
See
Yeah,
if you get there. Yeah. So we
Yeah.
all listen to something to go to sleep. Are we all like?
I
And we
I
all need
cannot fall
caffeine.
asleep.
We all.
I need caffeine, and I cannot fall asleep unless I have like a book playing. I cannot fall asleep if
Here's
it's
the
too
most.
quiet.
Here. You want to hear the most illogical thing? And is like it drives it doesn't drive me nuts or anything, but it's like it doesn't make any sense. Is like Hannah, if something's on, can't fall asleep. So I put the book in my headphones so that she doesn't have to
Oh,
hear it, right?
yeah,
But if we put on a movie and she gets into my we're like cuddling and we're watching a movie,
she'll fall
out.
asleep.
Yes, it doesn't make
That's
any
interesting.
sense. Is the lights are
That does.
on, all
Yeah,
the lights are on,
Yeah.
and all it's like versus
That's a
like the
safe.
lights are off and
That's a primal safety thing,
this
dude.
is primal
yeah,
safety thing. Okay, all right, that I like
yeah.
that. I like that.
I cannot fall asleep if the room is too bright. We don't have a
Mm.
TV in our bedroom,
Oh,
so and if there's not any light, we have like blackout curtains, and so I can't fall asleep if it's too bright. And we never watch TV in bed because we don't even have a TV in the bedroom. Um, but Ashton is such a deep sleeper that she can fall asleep, and I'll leave my book playing because she generally will fall asleep. Like, well, if I mean she's already in bed right now, but like she'll fall asleep like cuddling with me, and I'll kind of like roll her off a little bit, and then I will be awake for another 10 to 15 minutes listening to my book. And I don't even listen to anything I've never heard before. I will fall asleep to books I've listened to before because I don't pay attention. If it's something's on that I need to like listen
Oh
to,
yeah,
I cannot fall asleep.
I listened to all the Harry Potter books recently because of that falling asleep. Like I did all 7 books
Yeah.
again, and
I fall asleep
it's very
to
soothing.
a Game of
Like,
Thrones.
yeah, English man, like the guy who reads Harry Potter, his voice is very soothing.
Yeah.
You know, except he says Gryffindor wrong. That's my only.
What does he say it as?
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor.
He says Gryffindor.
I feel like I've heard audio recordings that pronounce Voldemort correctly. Like they initially pronounced it with the T as soft. Like the first couple books, you'll hear Voldemort rather than Voldemort.
Oh, yeah.
If you pay attention to it, you'll hear Voldemort.
Like he's French or something.
Uh-huh.
And
it's
the movie started coming out when the book was at like the books were at like book 4, right? Book 3 or 4 when the movie started coming out, and those started to change.
It was later than that. I think we were through book. Yeah, I think the first movie came out.
The book was out, and then
Order of the Phoenix. Because I remember when did because the first 4 books came out, and I wasn't a fan until book 5. Like I got myself caught up, and then book 5 was like my drop. Like when Order of the Phoenix dropped, I was there at Barnes and Noble at midnight for my copy.
Oh yeah,
I got that, and I read it.
Yeah,
I read it. I read it in 3 days. It's not hard to.
Think about going to a midnight book release party.
I did it for all 3 of the last Harry Potter books.
San Diego, remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we went down to go pick one up. They had 1 billion copies.
Wait, what was that?
We were in San Diego, and I forget which one it was. It was like the 6th one. It was
Half-Blood Prince.
I think so.
We did San Diego. We did midnight release. We were in San Diego at the inn.
That's right. And then we went to a random Barnes and Noble to pick one up.
I remember that. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Do you guys remember that? Did you guys ever do midnight releases for like the Halos, for Halo 2 and Halo 3?
I did midnight release for Halo 2, Halo 3, and Reach.
You did a midnight release for Reach.
And Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Fallout 4, Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, and God, what other midnight releases did I do? Oh, World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King midnight release.
Did you get that? You had that big blue like collector set, didn't you? Of the the Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah.
That had like commemorative art and stuff like that. I remember that being on our bookshelf for years.
It had a cool book. And
do you still have that, or did you resell it, or what?
No, it's gone. I have no idea where that is. Everything went digital, so I stopped giving a shit about like the physical.
Oh yeah.
Because
I don't think
my Battle.net stuff, it keeps your stuff forever. If you ever want to sign back up, it remembers all the stuff you.
Oh yeah, it's all on Blizzard servers. Yeah,
it's all on Blizzard servers now. They want you to come back.
I can't remember the last time I bought a physical copy of a game. I mean, my Xbox doesn't even have a disc drive. It's all it's a digital.
You know what I do every once in a while because I still have a disc drive is I'll troll Amazon for old games that are physical copies because you can find they put like crazy deals. Like I got Divinity Original Sin for Xbox for $20 because it was on some Amazon sale. So like I'll check games every once in a while, physical copies, and I'll just order them from Amazon because you could say like older games because they're just trying to get rid of them. They got 1 billion of them sitting in a warehouse somewhere, and they're like, put those for $20, and they just want to sell them. So it's just
100%.
I just wait on some physical.
What was the last midnight movie that you remember doing? Like they do. I mean, Thursday releases now for everything. But do you remember the last time you actually?
Yeah, the one that stands out is like Endgame. Like that. I feel like that.
Oh, I went to like a 7 o'clock show for Endgame.
I went to. I think
on like a Thursday.
Maybe I did. Maybe it was like a 7 o'clock.
Or I think maybe I had a day off that weekend. Like I specifically was like, I got tons of PTO time. I'll take the Friday of Endgame weekend off. And I went to like a 9 a.m. show by myself. And then I went to it the next day with people on Saturday morning.
I think I can't remember what movie I saw at midnight release, but the last one that I saw, I had trouble getting through because I'm like too old for midnight releases. And it was like, oh my god!
You were falling
I started
asleep.
to fall asleep. Yeah, I was falling asleep. It was like
My
2:30 in the morning, and I'm like this.
The one that I remember vividly was my first one. It was either Batman Forever or Batman Returns.
Oh my god!
That I think I probably convinced Dad or something to take me to like a midnight show back when there was a Harkins at like 7th Street and Bell Road. That was the closest one to the house or whatever.
I went to a midnight Christmas movie.
If Die Hard is a Christmas movie, I think Batman Returns is a Christmas movie.
I mean, 100% Die Hard is a Christmas movie, but like whether
then Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie too.
Iron Man 3 is definitely a Christmas movie. Like that you can absolutely watch that movie. It takes place at Christmas, lots of Christmas. Here's what I'd say is like the criteria. I think we've discussed this like episodes back, but I'm just gonna say the criteria for a Christmas movie is lots of Christmas movie, takes place at Christmas, obviously, but there's a third thing that's kind of like harder to nail down. The point of the movie is like Christmas spirit, like the being with family. So
how does Die Hard fit into that?
He's traveling to there to be with his family for Christmas. It's a Christmas party that he's going to.
It's not the point. It doesn't have to be.
What does John McClane learn about himself for Christmas?
The framing
he learns
of
he wants
the movie,
to be with his family.
The framing of the movie is Christmas, and then all the things that happen, killing, all of that doesn't have to be Christmas related.
Yeah.
The overarching frame of the movie is Christmas.
So, all the crappy Hallmark romantic Christmas movies are in the same category genre of movie as Die Hard. Then, like those are the same. They're connective tissue
those
between.
Just happen to be romantic comedy.
Now you get it, Andrew.
Between an inn for the holidays, whatever the hell it's called, Christmas flowers or whatever. Christmas.
The Christmas Prince. Yeah, the
Christmas
Prince.
Part 7.
Lindsay Lohan. Did you guys watch that Lindsay Lohan Christmas
No.
movie?
Ashton did.
It is drivel. It is.
Oh yeah. Of course it is.
Unwatchable shit.
Talk about employment though for the. It's keeping lots of people employed, cranking out those Hallmark.
All those C and D level like blandly attractive women and men have like a full like they can get booked at least once a year because they'll be on a Hallmark or a Lifetime Christmas movie because they're real good looking. They have some camera presence and they can remember their lines. So they go and they shoot for a movie. Yeah, they can act a little bit. They go shoot for 4 weeks in Toronto.
What do you think those productions last, Patrick?
4 or 5 weeks at the most.
The shortest movie like shooting days I've ever seen was 16 days, and you're running like your pants are flying off.
They gotta be. Those things have to be on such a tight budget.
They're completely tight budget. But
does Hannah know anybody that's directed a Hallmark or like a Lifetime Christmas movie? I wonder.
No, I don't think so.
You think she would take the job if she got offered?
Oh God, no! Like
really, you don't think so?
I mean, that's like. I mean, if you're, I think you're sort of like putting yourself in a hole if you take one of those, and it's not like a good thing. It's a paycheck. It's a paycheck, but she's in the middle of trying to grow her brand.
I agree.
If you choose to do a Hallmark movie in the middle of that just to take a paycheck, studio heads are going to be like, "Ugh, Hallmark movie." Like they're not known for being good.
No, people watch them though.
But like a Christmas movie is
dude.
fun.
Our cousin Our cousin watches she watches Hallmark
yeah.
every day for 2 months.
We got to get
She
Rachel
watches
on
every
here
one.
one time and just talk to her about Christmas movies.
That'd be so funny.
Next December, we're gonna convince her to be
have her do like
a guest.
You should have her do a recap.
She watches like 100. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who is this?
Rachel. Dude,
our cousin Rachel.
Did you not? You don't see her posts on her Instagram every
God.
single day for 2 months?
Yes,
dude. In November and December, she will watch and rate and give like a short like review of every single crappy basic cable Christmas movie she watches.
Yes.
And it's all like Hallmark and Lifetime movies. She watches one every single day, sometimes 2 a day. Yeah.
Okay, so I know you don't want like any structure, Andrew. You just want to talk. But
yeah. I wanted to catch up with my brothers a little bit.
I have a list of things that I've been meaning to talk about. So bear with me, audience. This is a little old.
Do an intro. Now's the time to do the intro, Patrick.
Hello. We are the Brothers Geek, and this is our podcast. Welcome. We haven't done this in a while. This is
4
episode
months.
number 183. We're Brothers, we're Geeks. We talk about geeky things. Hello, Andrew. Hello, Christopher. Onward and upward.
Right there.
Happy New Year.
2023. Okay. Umbrella Academy Season 3. I watched it. I actually grew to love Umbrella Academy, especially Season 2 and 3 was goofy and weird, and it scratched some itch for me that like Doom Patrol did, and like
I never watched Doom Patrol. I love Umbrella Academy. I love how
I'm like 3 episodes in on the 3rd season of Umbrella Academy. I think I fell off of it.
Dude,
I love how unabashedly just weird it is. It's
weird.
like we're gonna swing for the fences on how
they
weird.
steered into the weird, and I respect that. I don't know if they're gonna do a season 4, but I like how it ended, and I'm sad that I won't if they don't make another season. But not like really sad. It was just sort of like fun television. It was just like fun.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good show.
It is. And the characters are always really distinct, and I like the fact that they exist in a very real familial relationship. The familial relationship between the 7 main
they all kind of hate
umbrella.
each other. They all kind of hate each other.
Well, they
love
squabble
each other.
like siblings. They're
Yes.
very different people, but they rely on they absolutely trust each other. Except this season at one point, one of the siblings really kind of goes off the rails a little bit and violates some trust, and it's not who you expect. Yeah. And I was it's in character, but it's still like, wow, this went to a pretty dark place actually.
Yeah, you should finish it, Chris, because it's pretty good.
And I love how season 3 handled Elliot Page. I love what they did with him.
That was good.
I love it. It's the new reality for that actor and that character, and they embrace it, and I love that.
Yeah,
it's not a thing. They never even made a point about it. It was just, this is who I am, and they're like, okay, we love you.
Boy season 2, loved it.
Never watched a single episode of that show.
Oh my God,
Jared, Andrew. What's his name?
You should watch that. That is like
Jensen Ackles.
Jensen Ackles. I was thinking
as Soldier.
Pat Alecki. Yeah,
Jensen Ackles is Soldier Boy.
Jensen Ackles is great. Fits right in. Really good season. Really weird. Really dark.
It is dark.
It is
dark.
It is very bleak, very dark, very violent, very gross, very graphic. But there's some moments that are really good. The beginning of the season, I feel like, was a little slow, if I remember. I mean, this is like pulling from like months of not thinking about it.
It was a little slow. But it built to those last few episodes. Were like, holy cow.
The last few were great. Thor: Love and Thunder. Never talked about it on the show. Kind of hated it. It was not the right tone. Too goofy. Too much special effects. Too brightly colored. They fucked up their tone, I think. It's like you need to be... They were going really serious and then really silly, and it just... It's
the worst MCU movie.
It really did a disservice to Jane Foster.
Yes.
I mean, that comic book run is awesome.
Yes.
And it really, that movie really bummed me out because it was
all over the place.
Bad.
And they really did a disservice to Christian Bale because he couldn't. I mean, he was just acting like a champion, and and he couldn't save the movie because it's so goofy and weird and bad.
Everybody got sold on Taika Waititi's genius
Yes.
because of how good Ragnarok was, and then Jojo Rabbit came out and he got all
Yes.
this acclaim for making that, and then you give him carte blanche, and he doesn't. I mean, the movie's not good in my opinion. I don't think it's funny. I think it's very weirdly paced. I think it completely mischaracterizes Thor. I mean, they lean into the fact that Chris Hemsworth is a very, very talented comedic actor. He's really funny,
He's good.
and you give him the opportunity to do that. He's very funny, but I think the fact that they just made him a goofball, and none of the situations feel like they have any kind of stakes for me. I don't know. And with Jane Foster, I mean, it's a cancer story for her, and the fact that it just feels like it's totally mishandled. It's my least favorite of every MCU movie. I have no desire to watch it again.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think that what would be worse than that.
This is a good segue. Ash and I rewatched Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Better on the second viewing than the first.
I think I gotta give it another shot. I've been meaning to do that, and I sort of was meh about it when I first saw it in the theaters.
That movie's really good.
Yeah, it's better the second time. I was mad about it the first time.
Okay, all right.
Elizabeth Olsen, she is the star of the MCU at this point for me. Like her as the Scarlet Witch is awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved every minute.
Okay, Miss Marvel. I watched that show. Not very good. But I watched the whole thing. It was fine. And that I liked parts of it, and I wanted to, give it its all because I want more shows like this. I want there to be, I
like street level heroes in the MCU.
Street level heroes, kids, a minority, a character that's very different than what we've seen, a Muslim, interesting powers,
The Muslim. What I'll say about it was, I was more interested in the family life,
yes,
the community life, and her life with her friends, really, and like her just kind of discovering.
The motivations were dumb and wrong.
The superhero stuff was disposable for me.
That's because the villains had no motivation. They didn't understand what they were doing. They were like good, and then they like turned a lever, and then they were bad because she was thinking about it. It was like it's not a good show.
Motivation. It was a shrug.
It was a shrug.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem. If you don't have a really super compelling, we talk about this all the time on here. If you don't have a super compelling villain who's got a really interesting motivation, it's just like now the backstory and the history, India, Pakistan stuff. I mean, all of that was fantastic.
Yeah,
that was super compelling.
And I didn't know about a lot of that history, so putting that in kind of a.
They dropped the power stuff into it. I like that. I really liked that. That piece of it was compelling to me, and that backstory of the source of powers and blah blah blah. But I sounds like I liked it more than you guys did. I
liked Kamala Khan. I think Kamala Khan is and the young actor who played her was wonderful and very easy to watch. Yes. Very compelling. Carried that show
She's
well.
She's very charismatic and very fun. And no, I want them to make more, but I'm a little worried the show didn't do well because the writing. I'm excited
to see the character again.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need if I need her in 10 episodes of a Disney Channel type show.
I mean,
stick her in movies. Yeah. Putting her opposite Brie Larson, I think will be hilarious in Miss Marvel.
She's in that
in the Marvels. I think that will be a hilarious kind of juxtaposition.
Yes.
Like
the stoic.
Well,
Brie
the big angry dog and the little yappy puppy, like that cartoon dynamic of like the big tough dog and the yappy puppy that are always paired together in cartoons. I would love that for that movie.
Well, and then they're sort of like maybe they're going to overdo it with like Hawkeye, you know, they already did it a little over with Hawkeye, was like the young generation that's a fan of the original generation, like Avengers, that they're going to become the young Avengers. It's like young Hawkeye and like the new Black Widow, you know, and Kamala Khan and all these young heroes, and even like Ant-Man, his daughter,
Stature.
you know,
She's gonna play.
Stature.
She's gonna be a character called Stature, probably.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so there's all these, like, they're leading towards like a young Avengers like movie, which I would totally watch. It's like, sure, do it.
I mean, I'm watching. I got my tickets for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania today when it debuts, and I'm gonna watch. I mean, every Marvel movie that comes out, I'll watch.
I'm so excited for that. That looks great. Like,
Yeah.
I love Paul Rudd. So watchable. But
I'm excited for Kang the
I
Conqueror.
want
Jonathan
more-
Majors is so good.
I think I am like, I want more street level stuff. I'm tired of people standing in a giant green screen like room. I want
more Daredevil and Spider-Man
Yes.
friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not fighting another dimension or giant like crazy like monsters flying.
That's
through
why
the air.
I loved Jessica Jones. I loved
Yeah.
Iron Fist. I mean, that Iron Fist was a poor sort of, but Power Man. Those were good shows. That's what I
Yes.
want more of MCU. That kind of stuff, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. So the universe is. I mean, once you threaten the existence of the universe. Okay, now we go to the multiverse, and I'm kind of I have to say I'm lukewarm on
The whole
Quantum
thing.
Mania.
The whole thing is sort of lukewarm, but I
Yeah.
like
The only.
Paul Rudd.
The
And I'm
only.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've said this before. The only Phase 4 film that really sticks in, that kind of sticks with me and that has become a rewatchable film has been Shang-Chi and the
Yeah.
Legends of the Ten Rings. That's the only film that I've probably watched it 5 times since it came out.
Because the kung fu is awesome, and
And it's a well constructed narrative. The
and it's
characters
got
are
great
interesting.
comedy.
Yeah, the
and-
story's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
And the lead is compelling.
Yes.
he's so
I mean,
compelling.
he's so-
Yeah,
Simu
he's-
Liu is
Put-
a compelling
put him
lead.
in more movies. Since we brought it up, I'm gonna skip down a little bit. She-Hulk, Daredevil was in She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't understand the tone until like episode 3 of She-Hulk. Like, what were they doing? And then once I just sort of like let it be a superhero like sitcom show, it's just funny and it's not too serious, and it's just like she's gonna like. But people were trying to take it so seriously, and they were so angry about that show.
I mean, I liked it a lot. Yeah.
I liked it. I ended up liking it, and I think that actor, what's her name, Andrew?
Who played Jessica
Tatiana
Walters?
Maslany.
Tatiana Maslany?
Yes, I liked her a lot.
I don't
I'm
think
a little worried she's not going to come back because there's so much darkness and vitriol on the internet about like her and the show, and anyways,
I don't think that
I
show.
enjoyed it.
She's the only person. Tatiana Maslany is. The show doesn't work without her. Obviously,
Yes.
she carries that show on her back. She's extremely watchable. She is the. She's like. I mean, she's. If you think about it, she is really has that kind of Robert Downey Jr. level charisma, watchability.
Yep.
And she brings it to a legal sitcom type show. Without her and kind of the self-referential meta-ness and her just embracing every single moment of it, that show doesn't work at all. So you need someone with her level of talent.
Everybody was talking about Daredevil, the Daredevil like episodes, but honestly, Wong was the best part of that show. Like, he was so funny.
As a supporting,
Yes, yes.
in universe character, he's.
Oh,
I mean, he's
he was
great
great.
in everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Orville, New Horizons. I'm the only one. I don't think it's coming back. I think it's done. It took too long to make season 3. They lost all their audience, but I loved it. It's the truest form of Star Trek that I've seen in years, and I really enjoyed watching it. And it's goofy and it's silly, and they're just solving things with science, and they're like all a mess, and I love it.
That was the third season. They really screwed up the. I like that was the third season of it.
COVID made it take 2 years to make the third season, and they lost their audience, and it was on Hulu. They went straight to Hulu.
They branded it season 3.
Yeah, they called it New Horizons.
Right.
Orville, because they didn't want to call. I don't know why
Why wouldn't they? I don't. Yeah. So.
Anyways,
I watched.
It fell off. Yeah.
I watched part of season 1.
I loved it. They figured out. They figured out what they were doing in season 2. I will say that. Season 1 is like, what the hell?
I have been on a tiny. I mean, the new crop of Star Trek stuff. You guys have not been. Strange New Worlds. I don't know if that's on your list, Patrick, but Strange New Worlds was last year, and I really enjoyed Strange New Worlds. I mean, it was good. It was episodic. It was fun. It had interesting. I mean, they dump us in. It felt like Trek from the 90s, and going back and looking at Next Gen, and I did a complete rewatch of Deep Space Nine in 2022, all 7 seasons. How unabashedly just kind of goofy some of Star Trek is. You forget about the fact that Q is in the very first episode of TNG. It is not hard sci-fi. It's not. All of a sudden, this godlike alien who can control time and space is in the first episode, and they go to this random-ass planet, and it's all about the mystery of discovering this huge life form. It's goofy television. Star Trek, in some ways...
there are, like, at least 10 god-level aliens in Next Generation. And OTS. Like,
and OTS.
Yeah. Like, Roddenberry loves... like the what if of a god-like alien shows up and just says, "I can just put you out of existence." Like
our simple humanity convinces the godlike alien not to just wipe out our species.
Yes,
the fact that humanity is so good. Yeah, the fact that humanity is just good, like saves us. I mean, I love the optimism of it.
Yeah.
But Strange New Worlds, I'm excited for season 2 just because I feel like they started off on a good footing. They embraced at least a little bit of the goofiness of Trek, because Trek in a lot of ways is very goofy. And I mean, Deep Space Nine got very serious with the war story in the last few seasons, but even those few seasons of the Dominion War are still really, really good, compelling sci-fi television. It just doesn't have the goofiness of the early seasons.
The weird prophet stuff with Cisco. So
that's some of the weirdest. That's some of the weirdest episodes too.
And then the wormhole aliens, man, another god level like alien that is just like, are they gods? Are they aliens?
Yeah,
what?
Right.
Yeah. Just
and the other thing, talk about compelling characters and actors, is Anson Mount. I mean, that dude.
Yeah.
I could watch him.
He's a leading. Seriously.
I mean, he is amazing.
I think I gotta give that another try, because I watched the first episode and I was not into it. Yeah. I was not into the navel gazing of like he knows he's gonna die, and it's like I could not. They
dial that back.
Yeah, it lasts one episode, dude. It's not like a 10-episode arc for him. It's not him struggling every single week.
I got a bad taste in my mouth from Discovery, and I need to just like brush my teeth.
fell off on Discovery.
Get rid of it. Oh, Discovery is terrible. No one should watch that show. They should stop making it. Also, Picard. Why is there another Picard season?
I didn't even finish season 2 of Picard. I fell off after like episode 7.
Compelling, dude. He's great, but yeah, it's a rough show.
I'll watch season 3. I will give season 3 a shot. Absolutely, when it comes out. I love Patrick Stewart.
Should we do a watch it along with season 3? Because
I will watch.
I
will watch.
I am going to watch
for sure.
I'm going to watch season 3, dude. Next Generation was my favorite show.
Yeah.
Next Gen was my favorite show for like the entirety of its run. Yes. Next Gen was my favorite show. Yeah, and I'm going to watch season 3 of Picard. Absolutely. Picard's one of my favorite characters ever.
That was appointment television for Susan and I. We watched that.
9 o'clock on Monday nights, dude.
Life, I watched that whenever it was on. Yeah.
9 o'clock on. I think it was 9. Yeah. Well, it was in syndication. It was a syndicated show. So it was on like whatever random ass. It was on Channel 3, the ABC affiliate.
UPN. It was on UPN.
Voyager was on UPN.
Voyager was on UPN.
I think Next Generation was too. So I don't remember.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, it was appointment TV.
It was.
Moving on, I talked about like a long time ago. I read the book Paper Girls. I tried to give the show a chance. Got 3 episodes in, and it lost me because the filmmaking is so bad, and the writing
Never watched it.
It was all over the place, and they explained things so poorly, and it was not very good. So, I'm really sad about that.
It sounded interesting, but yeah.
I read the comic. Read the comic. The comic's really good.
This is the part of the point is there's so much content that you just can't consume it all.
Yeah, right.
There's so much content that you can't consume it all.
That's right. And I'd like to read an occasional book.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
So much content.
Lightyear. We haven't talked about Lightyear. I kind of liked it. It looked amazing, but not great. It was sort of
it was fun. No need to rewatch it for me.
Exactly. Like it was not a great showing for Pixar.
I'll say this though, the soundtrack, the score will come up every now and again when I listen to music during the day at work. And there's certain parts because it's Michael Giacchino, the guy who did the Batman soundtrack also. So Star Trek. The algorithm has figured out that I like him. I'll get pieces of that soundtrack from Lightyear that will play during the day. It's got real good music in it. So that'll come up every now and again.
I watched the Resident Evil show on Netflix. I did not finish it because it's terrible.
I didn't finish it either. It's terrible.
I knew it existed. I didn't watch it.
You shouldn't watch it. It's terrible. I watched Prey on Hulu with Amber Midthunder. Loved it.
That was so cool.
It was one of the best movies of last year.
Yes,
hands down.
Yes. And I'm really sad that it's on Hulu and no one's watching it or talking about it.
I feel like if that had been given a theatrical release, it would have made $150 million.
I think so too. It was so fun and so well made.
It would have had a decent opening weekend, and then the second weekend would have been huge because the word of mouth would have been so good.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a travesty that movie didn't get a theatrical release.
Cut out there for a second, Andrew. Say that again.
I think it's a travesty that it didn't get a theatrical release. I think it would have been decent in its first weekend. Like hardcore Predator fans would have gone because they like the franchise.
40-50 million.
40-50 million. It would have done 40 or 50 million in the next weekend because the word of mouth would have been so good about it.
Yeah.
Sandman?
I would have seen it at least twice in the theater.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Sandman on Netflix. I always kind of thought I read the book. I read the
didn't watch it.
Book.
Awesome.
I read the comic book and it's a really good series, and I always kind of feel like it would be really hard to make this into a show because it's all these characters and all this thing it doesn't really have like a good narrative until the last 3 episodes, and it's kind of all over the place. But I loved watching it, even though it's kind of doesn't have like a good through line, and the main character is like a god, so it's like kind of odd. But I think they did a pretty good job. It was not bad.
They got the tone and the complexity and the weirdness just right. I love that. That show was amazing. I loved all of it.
Cool. Never watched it, but
Lower Decks season 3. Have you guys watched any of Lower Decks?
No, I haven't watched any of that.
That's the funniest freaking Star Trek. Oh my god.
Yeah?
You want but they know what they're doing. It is like nostalgia stroking, but like in the best kind of way. Like just if you want like a Star Trek that's just goofy and fun, that's the Star Trek. It's very lighthearted, but it's about like 3 or 4
junior
ensigns.
officers, right?
Yeah, they're ensigns and on this like shitty ship. So it's just sort of like
it's not the Galaxy class starship. It's not a flagship.
There's all these like crazy shit that's happening over there where the commanders and the captains are dealing with it, and then they're like just trying to fix the shuttle. Like it's like they have their own conflicts while the big conflict that's going to kill them all is happening. So it's kind of funny. It's
I need to give it. I need to give it a try. I like a little
dude,
Trek.
it's Trek and it's funny, and just know going in that they're like just having fun with it, and the
What is
characters
that
were
on again?
that's on Paramount Plus. So
Yeah.
if you got Paramount Plus, that's give that a
I'm paying for all the things right now.
shot.
Oh yeah, all
all the
with all my
all the things.
subscription service, with all my subscriptions added up right now, I'm paying as much as I used to per cable, 100%.
Oh my god. Well, at least you get to
I'm
just
paying at
watch
least a
whatever
hundred.
you want. You know,
Yeah,
cable
I'm
is
paying at
sort of
least
like the,
$100 in subscription services right now. I think.
oh my god. Um, Rings of Power, kind of disappointing now that the dust have settled. I liked watching it, and it looked beautiful, and you could tell that there's money there. You could tell it looks amazing, but like now that I've stepped away from it for a little while, not very good. Like not what I wanted it to be. Not nowhere near as good as House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon blew it out of the water.
I agree with that.
And the
I did
level,
like
yeah,
Rings of Power really came together for me in the final 3 episodes when the storylines started to converge
yes,
more. Um, I think season 2 will have the benefit of that. Like the narrative will be a little tighter, maybe because they created these like 4 insulated stories, and then they all came together by the end of the season, and then they all kind of like split apart again.
mm-hmm.
So I think what 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 I think they were missing a little bit, and what the films benefited from a lot, was kind of the whimsical nature of like the Hobbit stories. Gandalf and his kind of wink and a nod all the time, and he's kind of like this. He's this grump, but he's still kind of like he makes these goofy jokes, and he's kind of got this odd dad sense of humor or whatever. You know,
He loves the
he's a little bit.
Hobbits. If you
He loves
rewatch
the
the
hobbits.
movies,
He's a
yeah,
little bit of a goofball with he
he
wink.
loves
He's
the Hobbits, and
yeah.
you can tell. That's the thing.
The Rings of Power took itself a little too seriously. The Lord of the Rings had a bit of an undercurrent of this is fun. It got very dark and very serious, and they were dealing with enormous stakes, but it was still fun. And I
In
think
this, in a
Rings of Power didn't have that level of kind of fun or whimsy to it for me.
I'll even do you one better. That's a simpler answer of what it needed. A quest. Like these type of movies you need to do something, and it's a clear outcome. You need to take the ring to Mount Doom, and all this shit is in the way, and you have to.
We're talking a lot, and our Tolkien scholar is wringing his hands a little bit.
Yes.
What was Chris? What was your feeling about Rings of Power?
Your reactions are 100% valid. I loved it simply because it's Middle Earth with a capital H history.
Yeah.
And it's Silmarillion. It is um all those characters that I've been reading about for my entire childhood and adult life brought to the screen. Beautiful. I mean, just it it yeah, I mean it suffers from the things you're describing, right? It has to take itself seriously because it leads to fucking Sauron.
Yeah.
In Mordor, right? I mean that's where it's headed. So there is no, I mean they have a little bit of whimsy with the pre-hobbits, right?
The Harfoots.
The
Yes.
Harfoots. Yeah, they're fun.
But it is it's Tolkien history with a capital H, and so that's tough to balance. You want the Lord of the Rings movies, but you also this is the, oh my god, the crafting of the Rings of Power, and they had to lay all that groundwork. They had to do all of that. Numenor is, I mean, just huge because everything that Aragorn is tormented by is in the first season. I mean, it lays the groundwork for this season, and next season will be, I'm suspecting, the destruction of Numenor. Yeah. And so That's coming, right? None of this is happy. There is no success.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's a story about the end of the world. It's the end of the Second Age's defeat, isn't it?
yes. So it's
Yeah.
Well,
so
the end of the second
I
age is
The fall of all these kingdoms, and then the Third Age is about power. I mean, they eventually
well, it ends with the battle where he gets his hand cut off, right? The
like
fingers
Sauron gets defeated, but
Yes.
it costs all them everything. Like
Yes.
the kingdoms that fight against Mordor eventually collapse, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that part of it? Yeah.
Okay.
Isildur, is corrupted by the ring, and then
Yeah.
loses the ring. Yeah. So, I forgive its seriousness because I'm so impressed that they put it to screen and it was beautiful and
I think
beautiful.
it's
It looked
beautiful.
amazing.
I mean, and we did 10 episodes about House of the Dragon, so we don't need to talk about that, but in that much depth. But the way that you like absolutely fell in love with Rings of Power because it's capital H history for Tolkien, I absolutely fell in love with Rings of Power because it was capital H history for Westeros and George
of
R. R.
Dragon.
Martin.
You mean
House-
House of the Dragon? You said.
Yeah, House of the Dragon, and
Yeah.
it's capital H history for George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and
Yeah.
Fire. I'm the lore guy when it comes to that. Like I have the lore books on my shelf right now, and I've read them multiple times. Like I love that stuff from A Song of Ice and Fire. So I'm right there with you in terms of it. It pulls on that part of my personality so well, and it has the benefit of, it's a really well-made story, and Matt Smith is an extremely compelling person to watch. I mean, he's good in everything. So, and Patty Constantine is, I mean, the fact that he wasn't
He's so
nominated
good.
at least for some, he gives so much depth to Viserys. Viserys is barely in the lore book, and he makes that character the most interesting character to watch over those 10 episodes or 8 episodes that he's alive. I
will. The contrast between them is really important because there's a piece of the showrunners it's really tough because I say capital H history, but it's also mythology, right? Of that world, because it involves Valar and all kinds of heady shit in the Tolkien universe.
It
Whereas
starts with
House of the
Galadriel in heaven. I mean,
Dragon is beings being, doing their thing. So that's much more history.
Yeah, you're right.
And teeing up lots more to come that we know about. I think Rings of Power is that the source material is difficult to really get your arms around and present in a way that present in a way that doesn't come across as the Silmarillion. So it's tough. Silmarillion is a tough read. So
I saw this meme video, this short like TikTok or something or reel on Instagram where it's like, this is how a Lord of the Rings fan decides to read the Silmarillion. He walks to his bookshelf. He looks at the Silmarillion on his bookshelf. He takes it off his bookshelf. He opens it. He reads 2 sentences. He closes the book. He puts it back on his bookshelf. He walks away for a week. Because it's that hard to get through.
Dense, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Andor. Didn't talk about Andor on the show.
I
loved it. It's the greatest.
Loved it.
It's the greatest Star Wars show that's ever been. It's
easily
the greatest Star Wars that I've seen in years.
Yeah.
It's so good, so smart. Watch Andor.
So good.
Yeah, incredible.
If you're thinking about how boring the first 2 episodes are, just watch the 3rd episode and then keep going. You dumb, lazy shit. You have to watch the first episode.
Seriously. Yes.
Yeah. It is shocking. I mean, it is stunningly good.
Stunningly. I was shocked at how impressive the series was and how perfectly Star Wars it was. There was no Jedi. Yeah. There's barely any space battles.
Yeah.
It is so perfect Star Wars.
Grounded.
All the things that Star Wars makes you feel, and the purest form of what Star Wars should make you feel, in my opinion, Andor made me feel that over and over again through the 10 episodes, or 12 episodes. It's it's a Star Wars a thing is I can remember watching, like, evoking that kind of like childlike feeling of what these stories are supposed to be about. For me, it just hit the nail right on the head. It's perfect Star Wars for me.
Yep.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
Black Adam, pretty disappointing.
Yes.
I wanted to like it, and I think the real answer, and I hope The Rock hears this, is it's because his character was not vulnerable. And you don't have to be vulnerable like you're gonna die, because Black Adam can be tough, but you have to have emotional vulnerability. And like The Rock has gotten too big, and like none of his movies he's like and he's just so boring to watch. Like he was just so bad. And that movie was just a giant CGI mess, and the end villain is just a giant CGI mess. So
this movie doesn't get made unless The Rock wants it made, because he's such a big star that people will watch it just for him. Mm-hmm. But the essential flaw of this movie is The Rock plays Black Adam.
Yes,
he's not compelling to watch. Black Adam has a lot of depth as a character. It has a tragic backstory, and I just think The Rock can't really pull that off as an actor. And it's not a very well-made movie.
Also with what has happened with Henry Cavill, they did Henry Cavill dirty. Like he shows up at the end credits because it's like, I'm going to be in more movies. I want to be in more movies. And then immediately they're like, yeah, you're not going to be in more movies. It's like
Henry Cavill just as a casualty of the fact that DC wants a hard reset. They tried to make the Snyderverse work for 10 years and just never really got off the ground. They just want a hard reset, which I can understand. I love Henry Cavill as Superman, but I understand them wanting to just move on.
They want to move on. They want to start over. They want to, even like, are they ever going to release that Flash movie, or is that dead in the water too? Because like,
nope, it's still coming out.
Ezra Miller.
It's coming out. It's coming out in March.
Life. I tried to
their
watch
life. Their life, brother.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
I tried to watch Peripheral. Not good.
Haven't even heard of
it. Third episode, 3 episodes on Prime. Not very good. I wanted it to be fun sci-fi. Man, they did not do a good job with
the first episode of that.
Avatar: Way of Water. Beautiful. Spent an hour in the middle swimming around, and the story didn't go anywhere, and you lost me. I was just like, this is beautiful. I understand what you're doing, but like literally there's an hour of them swimming, and the story is not moving forward.
But the water and the creatures and the people are beautiful, dude.
Stunning.
I mean,
the whole
it's a movie making achievement.
Yes,
absolutely. I had zero emotional investment in the movie at all.
Zero. I mean, a little bit too. Yeah.
I couldn't tell. I mean, I couldn't tell the kids apart. I'm gonna be honest.
I couldn't tell the kids apart.
I couldn't tell the kids apart.
Yes.
Other than Sigourney Weaver's character.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
her. Yeah.
I mean, I could tell the difference between the feminine presenting Na'vi and the male presenting Na'vi, but beyond that, I didn't remember their names, and I wasn't invested in. I mean, they spent 45 minutes.
I couldn't tell.
They spent 45 minutes about one of the male Na'vi, one of Jake Sully's sons, connecting with this space whale, but I don't really know why. I guess he saves the space whale, saves him at the end.
So I've heard the rumor that the third movie is called something Fire.
The Ash people or something. Like the Na'vi culture is going to be a fire people.
I mean, did James Cameron just watch the Avatar cartoon and said, I got an idea? Like what the fuck, dude?
It's a good meme, but hopefully I don't. Yeah,
those elements are not. They weren't started with Avatar: The Last Airbender. So
There's speaking,
That's an ancient mythology.
Sure,
Dude.
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I would also like to mention there's been rumors that they're making another Avatar cartoon TV show.
Oh, it's confirmed. It's not even a rumor.
The next Avatar, the Earthbender.
The original creators, I forget their names. It's confirmed they have a deal with Paramount. They are going to make the next generation, the next cycle is an Earthbender. It's the next generation after Korra. They're going to do a series. They're going to do a animated movie of the Avatar of Aang and his crew as adults. Tell a story of that.
Totally would watch that. Oh my god,
100%. And they're going to do. I've heard rumors about an adult Fire Lord Zuko animated project as well.
Dope.
Like an animated film focusing on Zuko and the Fire Nation. Him as an adult leading the Fire Nation.
Love it.
All things Avatar. I am on board. All things Avatar.
All things 100%. Like Nickelodeon Avatar.
Yes.
Not James Cameron Avatar.
The four elements. Aang and the elements. I'm all about it.
Aang and the elements. We'll watch that any day. I tried to watch Willow. Fell off. Not good. I was really hopeful for that show.
It's pretty painful to watch. Yeah.
We have the finale to watch, Ashton and I, and we forgot that it happened.
Yeah.
We got to watch the finale.
I think we're current. We're current also, but it's painful.
Yeah. It hasn't been as pleasant to watch as I had hoped.
And then I mean, we're getting to the end here, but The Last of Us was last night, and I loved it. I was really excited. It's a very long first episode, but
it's feature length film length.
Yeah, they made a feature length film, and it sets up the season, and I'm really excited about watching more.
And none of us have played the games, right? I never played the games.
I've seen footage online, but I've never
read about it. I know what happens.
Yeah, I knew it was like a take on a zombie survival game, that kind of vibe. But never played it. I think it's a PlayStation exclusive, and we're Xbox families. So
PlayStation 3 is when it first came out.
Lot of stealthing is what I've heard.
I've heard that too.
Yeah. And I listened to the accompanying Craig Mazin podcast of the first episode. Pretty good listen. It has the creator from the video game on there as well. And they're talking about their developing of the show and what they were trying to do and the stuff they changed, and that's okay. It's like I really thought the tone was right and it looked amazing, and I'm excited to watch more.
I was very happy with the first episode. I will absolutely keep watching.
Cool.
Absolutely. Yep.
Did you guys? I mean, we talked a lot about stuff, but let's quickly. Did you guys have a favorite movie of 2022? Did you have a favorite movie you watched last? Maverick
was amazing.
That or the Batman for me. Maverick or the Batman.
Really good. Batman was
Batman is my number one.
Yeah, the Batman
movie. That movie is. Yeah, I have to pause when I'm comparing it to The Dark Knight. Honestly,
I agree.
It's incredible Batman movie.
Yeah,
they went in a different direction that no one has ever gone before. That the old cartoon really got right was the Batman isn't running around like punching people all the time. He's investigating and trying to figure stuff out. His strengths is in his mind. Like, yes, Superman could just run up and smash and crush his neck, but like he's like investigating murders. It's a serial killer that's on the loose. Like, that's who Batman should be fighting.
Super compelling.
Yeah, super compelling.
I agree. I mean, in terms of, I would watch the Batman all the time, except for the fact that it's 3 hours long, and I want to sit and watch it in one sitting. Okay. So it's like that's the only. I think I would watch it once or twice a month, except for the fact that it's 3 hours.
Number 2 is not Maverick. It's Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I still need to watch that. It's
phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. I need to watch it.
You need to watch it.
What is it? What is it streaming on?
As a fan of movies, Andrew, you have to watch that.
Okay.
I don't know where it is.
Is it streaming on anything?
Yes, it is.
Prime. If
Okay.
you want, yeah.
It is.
If I need to rent it, I will send you $4 to rent it, Patrick.
Yeah,
You
it's
can rent it. Go ahead.
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
That's my list. That's it.
Right on.
We made it.
That's
through
an
my
awesome list. That's an
Yeah,
awesome list.
I just keep track of
Welcome
everything.
back to 2023. Right on. Let's go.
23.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Okay. Do you have trivia, Andrew? No.
I don't have any trivia. I just wanted to talk to you guys tonight.
That's fine. That's fine.
It works. It works.
You should email the podcast, Brothers Geek Podcast, and follow us on Twitter, brothers_geek at twitter.com. Are we still doing Twitter? Like, I don't know. Elon Musk is crazy. And then,
as an aside,
this
is neither here nor there, but you mentioned Elon Musk, and when you think about it, Christopher, Patrick, you as well. You've talked about potentially owning an electric vehicle. I didn't test drive it, but there's a Polestar dealership inside Scottsdale Fashion Square, and like Ashton and I like went in and talked to the guy and like sat in the vehicle.
Yeah.
That it's definitely a step up from the vehicle I drive right now. It's probably twice as expensive as the Mazda I drive, but that is a solid vehicle and it feels good. If I'm going to upgrade and get myself kind of that next level, I would get a Polestar. I think that's a cool car.
Like, California just
Hyundai Ioniq. Look into that.
Ioniq 5
Hyundai
looks
Ioniq.
dope. Yes, those are so cool looking.
What I thought you would like about the Polestar, Christopher, is they're partnered with Volvo, and you're a Volvo guy. So, like, you get your maintenance done at Volvo dealerships for a Polestar.
Oh wow!
So,
wow.
Yeah, that's their like corporate partner. Yeah,
I'm still on the hunt for I Tesla. I'm not doing a Tesla anymore. So.
Nope. What sold me on Polestar too is I think they're better looking cars than the comparable Tesla. They're better looking, in my opinion. But that's
excellent.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think we're a generation out.
Yeah.
I think it's still early.
I think you're probably right about that.
California did that law where it's like no more gas-powered cars by 2035.
I think 10 years is right about the point where
it's 7 to 10 years, I think.
And they're going to be affordable, and
the issue is infrastructure and affordability.
Yes.
And battery range. Everything's hovering on that 300-mile range. They can't make a battery that goes really further than that. Right. So I think that once the battery life is, you can get 500 miles out of your battery, people will really be like, this is the standard. This is the standard now.
The next jump, we need an evolutionary jump in battery technology to give us that 500 miles. When that happens, and they can mass produce it in a way that it's affordable,
and you can charge it in like 20 minutes. Like it's not an overnight charge. Like the battery technology, once that kind of touches up, 5 to 10 years from now,
it's still niche because of all of those factors.
Yeah.
You could follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Brothers Geek, brothersgeek.com, and Brothers Geek Do Stuff on Instagram, and Brothers Geek Podcast on YouTube. Watch us talk.
Christopher, I'm excited. I'm not ratting Christopher out. I'm not giving too many details, but Christopher is going to be experiencing Star Wars Land this coming week. So Christopher is going to send photos of his experience at Galaxy's Edge. And I'll post pictures on the Brothers Geek Do Stuff Instagram of Christopher's first visit and take pictures of the lightsaber you're going to build and the drinks you're going to drink at Uga's Cantina.
I'm the entire experience.
Yes, I'm excited for you to do this. I think you're going to have a fantastic time. Fantastic time.
Absolutely. I hope you have a good time.
We got to get Patrick. Patrick, you live an hour from Disneyland. We got to get you to Disneyland.
Yeah, right.
In this year, it has to happen.
3 of us have to go.
Yeah. We do. Absolutely. We got to plan it for this year.
Maybe for my birthday.
Great idea.
Yes.
I'm there.
I'm going on a cruise 6 days after your birthday, but we're going to Disneyland before we go on my cruise. I'm going on my honeymoon cruise. I didn't tell you guys. I don't know if I didn't tell the family this yet, but Ashton and I booked our cruise. It's a honeymoon, and it's around the British Isles, and it's in late May. So
Whoa.
let's go to Disneyland in May.
All right. All right. Well, I might actually come home in late May and go to Phoenix Comic Con because I really like that con. So.
I won't be here. It's the first weekend in June this year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I think.
I think I might try to come home for that and go to the Phoenix Comic Con because
You guys can.
I keep liking that con. That's a good con. So
If Ashton and I are in our new place because we've started looking for a house again, you can stay in our place.
that's a good call. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for listening. We're back.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.